Well, hello there, motherfuckers, and welcome to your Smackdown review. So before we start, someone asked me, do I have a new camera? And the answer to that is no. There's just better lighting here. I did a few little things here, adjusted a few things with the lights, so I think the picture looks a lot better. So with that in mind, let's begin our review of SmackDown. Was it better than Raw? Do we even need to ask that question? I mean, this is the age-old question. People do videos of it on different channels. What was better? You know, who wore it better? I'm a fan of wrestling with regret, like I said. The guy's smarky and shit, but, he does a good job of, comparing both shows, but really at the end of the day, he's too focused on the wrestling. That's all anybody cares about is the in-ring product. And the thing is, the truth is these matches aren't even that great, is what people are making like we're all about 5-star matches and everything. I mean, this is everybody is so concerned about the quality of the matches and how many big moves can be pulled off. No one even cares that there's barely any storylines nowadays, that the promos all sound the same, that the promos are not even good. We're going to talk about the Iconics, and we're going to talk about just how fucking amateurish. Like, you could watch better promos on any given indie promotion. Let's start from the top. So Paige announces a no disqualification match between AJ and Nakamura. The sportsmanship was bad at the Greatest Royal Rumble. We're talking about the sportsmanship. This kind of brings me back when, we would hear about somebody being a bad sportsman. We would hear about this when WWE was clueless, like in the mid-90s. When it was all about, oh, this is poor sportsmanship. And, this was before, like, attacking announcers and stuff like that. And there was, like, a lot of backstage beatdowns. That was, like, the precursor to that. That's how they used to get heels over back in the day, by them being bad sportsmen. And I mean, to a point, that's how they get them over today. But, this is like, we're talking about like we didn't have the Attitude Era, that we didn't have something called the Ruthless Aggression Era. And you think about everything that's transpired in WWE, so, we got to do a no DQ match because, AJ was a little aggressive. And, a no disqualification match, I mean, you have different iterations of this, like Street Fight and what's another one? No Holds Barred. That would make it sound tougher. It was just like it sounded like Paige was going for a big announcement there and just sucked all the air out of the room. Or I would say excitement, but there isn't even any excitement to suck out of the room. I mean, for God's sakes, it's SmackDown. We're post-Mania, and we still don't even have any sense of direction. Like, honestly, somebody tell me, if you disagree with what I'm saying, what direction does this company have? What is there to look forward to? Backlash? What's on that card? You don't even have a Universal title match. There's no Brock Lesnar. We're getting matches we've seen before. The card is boring as hell. I mean, I know I didn't watch the Greatest Royal Rumble, but the Greatest Royal Rumble had a better card. It honestly did. I mean, they're probably going to throw a few more things on there. I don't know who's going to be facing Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy. Are they even on the card? I guess we might get something with the Usos and the Bludgeon Brothers, who, by the way, they weren't even on this show tonight. So, I'm like, what is even on the card on Backlash? I talked about this during my Raw review. They mentioned Backlash. They ran several promos for Backlash, but I don't even know what the card is. I know there's obviously, I just said AJ versus Nakamura, but what else is on this card? Roman Reigns and Samoa Joe. Someone also told me that I was right. I was half kidding, you know, but Braun Strowman and Lashley are going to team up to face Owens and Zayn again, because that match was so mind-blowing on Raw. I mean, why not do it again? You know, let's do it again. We did it once on Raw. Let's do it again. You know, no one gave a fuck about it on Raw. Of course, we want to see it again. You know, it's not like we've already seen them tag teaming like several more times in 6-man tags. I mean, what kind of a pay-per-view is this going to be? Remember what back in the day when they did the first ever Backlash? What was the main event? I mean, you always had a great main event at Backlash, for the most part. What did you get for the first ever Backlash? It was The Rock and Stone Cold, and that was after their match at WrestleMania 15. What did they do? They made it no holds barred, and before you knew, you had Stone Cold giving, you know, the first person stunner when The Rock had the camera, and you had that great angle. And then when you had WrestleMania 2000, the next pay-per-view was one of the greatest Triple H and Rock matches. You know, following that, you had Stone Cold teaming up with Triple H to take on The Undertaker and Kane in a big superstar, mega superstar tag match. I mean, you know, and then we fast forward all the way to 2018, where we're supposed to have flying cars and living like the Jetsons. You know, what are we watching? We're watching AJ Styles, who, like I said, not to discredit the guy, I am a big AJ fan, versus Nakamura. And then you look at the rest of this card and you compare it. I understand, oh, it was a different time and all that. But the way I see it is, we're in 2018. There's advancements being made. Why has the product fallen so far? Like I said, you've got the network. You know, this is an archive of better material. And you're going back and you're looking at how good those past backlashes are. And this backlash just comes, and not only does it not feel, you know, even like a pay-per-view, because we just had one on Friday. You know, like, why would anybody want to watch this? I'm going to say I will review this one. You know, I decided not to do the Greatest Royal Rumble because that shit was way too long. I mean, we all know this one's going to be 3 hours, but I will make my best effort to review it, even though I am completely disinterested in it. And I'd rather do gaming videos for you guys and work on something with that. But, you know, people will say, Brad, work on the gaming videos. But I know that, you know, in all honesty, as of right now, before I could even really establish myself as a gamer on here, you know, I'm gonna get more views and attention by doing a Backlash review. So I'm going to try to, you know, the gaming videos are obviously still coming, but I'm going to try to do a Backlash review. It's going to be hard to sit through a show that I really don't want to watch, but, you know, I don't really want to watch this either, but I do. So, the first segment of the night, besides the announcement, we have the Miz TV, and he's interviewing Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton. You know, Randy Orton seemed half asleep during this promo. Jeff Hardy as well. There was just no enthusiasm from anybody involved except for the Miz, like always. There's nothing even really exciting here to talk about. But what are we discussing? The fact that, you know, and it's not even explained. Randy Orton saying, "Oh well, you know, it's the fact that they wrote this into the storyline that Randy Orton has respect for Jeff Hardy. Instead of making it engaging, we're just basically hearing Randy Orton say, "I don't care." So right here, why should I even give a shit about their match on Sunday? I'm not angry. Okay, then, you know, we're just having a match because we just want to have a match. Like, you know, Randy Orton, this big star, he's like basically saying, I don't give a fuck about Jeff. You know, like Randy Orton should have said, you know, don't try to upstage me. You know, don't ever do that again. And I know he RKO's him later in the match, but I mean, like right here, just being so nonchalant, there was nothing. Like, you saw the Miz is trying to spark the segment a bit. I mean, like I said, that's part of the storyline. It's supposed to be like Miz is trying to stir the pot, but Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy are really pals, and they don't really, you know, want to say anything bad about one another. And that right there, like, don't the writers see how boring that is? Like, people are just going to turn it off right there, honestly. I mean, why would anybody want to watch this segment where there's basically, there's no malice, there's, you know, no hatred, there's no rivalry really here, but we're going to have the match anyway. I mean, you would never see this where, oh, you know, we're just two guys wanting to have a match. I mean, so, you know, you guys just want to get in the ring and beat each other up, you know, just so you can have a rousing match. Like, that's so boring from a writing standpoint. Are they even, like, bored writing that? And that's supposed to be the reasoning for the match? I mean, you think about how this match came about. You know, Shelton Benjamin put out an open challenge, right, 2 weeks ago. Jeff Hardy comes out there when Randy Orton wanted to come out for the response. So Jeff Hardy comes out. And then you have, you know, Randy Orton just staring at him. Then the other thing happens where Jeff Hardy comes out for the match, and then Randy Orton instead comes out. You know, and it was just like they're both staring at one another, and it's like, oh yeah, go ahead, just take my match. I'm going to stare. I'm not 100% okay with this, but go ahead and have the match. Like, you know, and then they're here like, oh, I don't care. Like, yeah, I mean, this has got to be the laziest fucking storyline I haven't seen in a while. Like, I'm actually saying this is a storyline. That's the term that I'm using here. I mean, that's pathetic. And the fact that they're bored here and Randy Orton is saying, I don't care. I couldn't get over this. I mean, like, this is lazy writing 101. Like, if you wanted to teach a class, like, how to write a wrestling show where you will have people turning it off in record numbers, I mean, this is the way how to go. I mean, it's like, it's a parody. It really, really is like a parody of how WWE used to be, where we would have an engaging storyline. This is like the exact opposite. This is 180 to the max. I mean, this is like 181, 182. I mean, if you could do an about face, you couldn't get any more of a polar opposite than what the product used to be. So then it leads to the match. And, of course, they get the pin on Shelton, so the win over Orton last week doesn't mean anything. You know, I don't know why they continue to bury this guy. I mean, I remember when Shelton, like, it was 2010, and he was still there, and he was struggling, and he could, you know, they put him on ECW to get him away from everybody else so he would stand out amongst the, you know, like, that was the thing. Even like around then, they had so many guys around 2008, 2009. They still had a really good roster full of competent stars that weren't amateurs and call-ups from NXT that still knew how to cut promos. And remember how we used to even say that Shelton Benjamin didn't know how to cut a promo? And I mean, he still really doesn't. Not that good. But he still looks 10 times better than the Iconics, 10 times better than Finn Balor. You know, and I'll even say this, at least he doesn't make me, like, roll my eyes like Samoa Joe. At least it's just a bit more streamlined than that. You know, and here's their chance. They could redeem themselves for what they did to Sheldon, where they buried him. I mean, this guy was giving it his all. I mean, you want to talk about in-ring work. This guy couldn't really cut promos, so they put him out there. And I mean, this guy was just great in the ring. The things he would do during the ladder matches he was involved in, running up the ladders and stuff like that. I mean, this guy, you know, was really, really good. And he still is really good. And he looks physically even better than he did back then. So, like, here's their chance. You could redeem yourselves. You couldn't get Shelton to that next level. I mean, if you're going to put Seth Rollins, of all people, in a big position, you're positioning this guy like he's going to be the top babyface, or you guys are on fire tonight, like, why not Shelton? Like, here's your chance. You know, you want to be diverse. You're going to Saudi Arabia. We're global. Get Shelton. You know, you're always hearing it. Like, this guy, without a doubt, if this is, you know, what you're going to base it on, like in-ring work, why is Shelton not fighting for world titles? If Nakamurphy, if a guy that looks like Nakamurphy could be in a WWE title match at WrestleMania, why not Shelton Benjamin? He's fucking 50 times better of a wrestler than Nakamurphy. He looks way more believable in the ring. Looks more believable as a competitor, as an athlete. So why, you know, like I'm saying, here I am. I do it every week. This is what I'm saying. Like, I hate on the product because it deserves it. But here I am putting somebody over here. Like I said, I'm all for a guy like Shelton Benjamin because he's got all the tools. I mean, his promo skills are good enough, right? He's been in the business long enough now where he can at least get through a promo without really botching it. He's not really that great. You know, he's a, you know, but he's better than a lot of the other guys. So I don't understand, you know, he's eating pins. He's just not looking good. You know, they're keeping him in here with some of the main guys, which is a good sign for him. You know, he's still losing. I know the current mentality, though, is wins and losses don't matter. But, you know, you see that there's other guys who are better protected, to say the least. So anyway, the Iconics are backstage with Renee Young. They're with Carmella. And okay, first of all, you know, I've got a lot to say here about this. A little short segment, but I've got a lot to say about so far the progress of the Iconics and why is Carmella even with the Iconics? First of all, by association, this just looks bad. You know, with these amateurs helping her out winning the title, I mean, it definitely doesn't make her look good. You know, hanging around with amateurs when Carmella's supposed to be this, like, higher echelon star. She's better than everybody else, you know. And you're putting these two girls that, like, I understand why they're putting them together. They're both supposed to have that cocky, better than you type of gimmick, and I get it, but Carmella does it so much better than these two. And they're mocking Renee Young, and you know, like, they're trying to imitate Renee Young, and even the imitation is so bad, and they've been doing that. They've been, like, imitating people, and they're so goddamn annoying. I mean, like, okay, I know people are going to disagree. I look at the WWE YouTube page, and there's people praising the Iconics, like they're iconic. First of all, them even having that name, the Iconics, I'm just like, yeah, if there's any, like, team or duo or any, like, wrestlers that could be considered iconic in this day and age, they would probably be in last place. I mean, who's the one, like, the more popular of the two, I believe, is Peyton Royce. She, you know, she's the one with the shorter hair. I think as far as annoying, I mean, they're both bad and guilty by association as well. But Peyton Royce is, like, way more annoying. I mean, first of all, it was the win. Now they're, like, doing some, like, imitation of Renee Young. You know, they're saying about her accent, you know, being more Canadian. Like, why? Like, huh? Like, first of all, yeah, I don't know. Where were they? Were they still in Canada tonight? I don't know what they're doing. But man, holy cow! I mean, it's the accents, and like I said, nothing against Australians. I even had somebody comment on one of my videos that they're Australian and still, like, they can't stand them. Look, it has nothing to do with the accent. They'd be annoying no matter what accent they had, but those shrill voices, and they're so amateurish. I know they tell them to go out there and just, like, mock people and be extra annoying, but I've said this already in a few reviews. You had Kurt Angle in the year 2000 being super annoying, but he was entertaining. There's a certain fine line between being annoying, you know, while still being entertaining, and then just being annoying to the point where you want to turn the fucking channel off. And that's definitely the latter when it comes to these two. They're unbearable. They're unwatchable. They're terrible. They're horrible. They're fucking awful. They're bad. I don't know why they called them up. Putting them with the champ is just, I know they want to give Carmella like her backing because they feel like she needs protection, while on the other hand someone like Carmella doesn't. But I have to also say once again, like, they just can't put two girls together in a rivalry. It always has to be like 16 other girls there with them, and once again, that's what the main event is. It's a 6-man tag. Hey, didn't we have a multi-man tag match on Raw? Well, we're doing them with the women. What is their obsession now? Like, all of these main events now is tag matches. And I know that they even did this for a time, you know, like in the Ruthless Aggression era, but, you know, at least they had stables back then. You had Evolution and shit. I mean, now you're just... now you're just kind of fishing for main events. You're throwing random people together. Let's move on. Backstage, Cesaro flipped over a tray of pancakes. You know, this pancake thing's been going on now for like half a year, and I'm still not even getting like why we're even doing pancakes. Like, what the deal with this is. Xavier Woods tells Sheamus that he's going to, like, eat his soul or whatever. I'm like, yeah, Xavier Woods should be shitting in his pants at the prospect of wrestling a guy the size of Sheamus. Like, you look at these two, and, like, Xavier Woods is a goofball. What, you know, like, to even think that he'd say that to Sheamus, and Sheamus is even letting him get that close to his face. I mean, I think to where Sheamus was when he first came into the WWE, and they were making this guy like a monster, you know, and like he's calling out Jamie Noble, and he like destroyed him to the point where he kayfabe ended his career. I mean, you know, Sheamus going over Cena and all this. I mean, and now you fast forward and you take a look at like what they're doing, like, with them, and like I said, I like the Bar tag team. I think that they mesh well. I think they hit on something that was pretty good between the two of these guys. But man, the guy's stock has fallen considerably over the years. Backstage, we had Aiden English. You know, he says he has a new song for Rusev, and then Lana showed up. Just out of the blue. I mean, they were together on the mixed match challenge thing, which I still haven't watched a single fucking minute of that garbage, besides when I reacted to the Braun Strowman, Alexa Bliss nonsense, that love storyline. And, like, are they, like, together in real life? Because I've been watching something like the coming attractions for Ride Along, and I don't know if they're just riding along, but it looks like Strowman might be actually banging somebody 2 feet smaller than him. Okay. But anyway, it's besides the point, motherfuckers. Lana's here. Why they broke them up in the first place is beyond me. I mean, ever since they took Lana away from Rusev, his stock had fallen considerably. I mean, I guess it was the fact that Lana was more the star than Rusev half the time. People just wanted to see Lana's sexy ass. Well, here she is. They finally took away the accent. You notice even with Rusev, they've even, like, I was even noticing it here when he was talking to Aiden. They really calmed down on his accent a lot. I mean, I know that he really does have an accent, but he's even backing up on it a bit. You know, so I guess it was more put on than, or they're just telling him to try to ease it off a little bit somehow. But you know, they were saying for the longest time, even a lot of the fans were calling for it, saying, why you have Lana talking like a Valley girl on the Divas show, and you're having her do the accent on the show, just looks ridiculous. So they finally scrapped that. She's backstage with him, and she says that something is holding him back. Yeah, management. But yeah, talking about it in English. But anyway, they teased this before. Just put her with him already, or just like I said, there's a lot of rumors about Rusev leaving. The whole thing with The Undertaker was completely ridiculous. They took him, they put him in the match, they took him out of the match, they put him back in again. I mean, this guy's had one hell of a fucking roller coaster of a career. I mean, he goes from being at WrestleMania with John Cena to not even being at WrestleMania for several years. I mean, what has he missed? Like 3 WrestleManias or something like that since he's been at the one where he came out in the tank. Big Cass came out. This segment was okay. I'll say, like, it was goofy with the midget and everything, and yeah, like, you compare this to some of the other segments where they've had midgets mocking each other, like when Edge and Christian brought out the midget Dudleys and the Hardys back in the day. It was okay, he big boots the midget. He had him dressed as Daniel Bryan to put over the fact that he's a lot bigger than Bryan. And, the thing that a lot of people are not talking about is I like the promo that he gave here. I know some people don't like the promo, the promos that he's been cutting lately, but I like how he said you're going to expect a 5-star match, but you're going to get a 5-second match. I really enjoyed that. I really like it when they poke fun at the Smarts, even though they should stop catering to them. Like I said, it's the same thing with the Drew McIntyre promos. I like hearing that stuff, that I'm not just happy to be here. I like the fact that you're not going to get a 5-star match, that they're sticking it to them in a lot of ways. I've got a feeling that this is probably going to end up being my favorite match on the show, the Daniel Bryan Big Cass thing. Just because this is 2 stars that I really like, and and I want to... Orton and Jeff Hardy, probably. I mean, in all honesty, besides the terrible build-up, those 2 matches I'm probably most looking forward to, if you want to get my opinion on it. So, this segment wasn't bad. It was a bit goofy. Why they would not, especially, this is what I'm saying about Backlash. Bryan not on the show. I understand he's not medically cleared to be there, but I don't really understand. They're showing him, that he came out of the trainer's room and everything. Wouldn't he want to get, like, his revenge on Big Cass? Like, could maybe he come out and swing a chair at him or something like that? Or, they could at least have Big Cass one-up him again, maybe. Maybe come out with the chair to try to do an equalizer. Then maybe he could give him the big boot. I don't know, but not having Bryan here. I mean, they just brought Bryan back. Who else feels that they've really just butchered the Bryan comeback? I mean, I know it just happened, but, like, I feel like they really could have just catapulted Bryan even further at a faster rate. And they really just look like they're dragging their feet here. Like, there's so much boring shit going on. The Bryan comeback should have been explosive, and it just feels like... And the other thing is, have we already forgotten that the whole reason they put Miz on SmackDown was so we could finally get this explosive Miz-Daniel Bryan storyline, which undoubtedly that it should be the best storyline because they have so much history together. It should be, one damn fine match. I mean, it should be an awesome match. I mean, forget about the match. It should be an awesome storyline more. I mean, they have all this build-up around it, from the Talking Smack stuff. I know it mostly happened on Talking Smack, but you've got a lot of history there dating back to 2010. They could talk it up. They could put together big packages of showing you stuff. And here we are, we're just kind of, the Miz is off doing his own thing. They sidetracked it with the Big Cass thing. I don't know if they're trying to hold on. God help me. Are they trying to hold off until SummerSlam? Like, okay, I understand you want to hold off till SummerSlam, but don't you want to do the best match possible? Like, why is Backlash not a bigger show? Why are we just relegating it? Oh, this is a secondary show. Oh, it's not as important as some of the other pay-per-views. Like, no. What, shouldn't every show be important? Shouldn't every show get a chance to be the best possible show it could be? Instead, we're just like, oh, it's just Backlash. No, it shouldn't be, oh, it's just... We never used to say that back in the day. We even used to say, oh, I can't wait for Judgment Day. They got a great card on Judgment Day. I'm pumped for Judgment Day. Or I'm pumped for No Mercy. You know, remember, like, there used to be big matches, like, remember... No Mercy when Stone Cold got ran over and it was revealed that it was Rikishi. That was No Mercy. The Stone Cold and Rikishi had the match at No Mercy, which was, you know, considered probably what people would say today, No Mercy is a B pay-per-view. You know, and you still had big matches on No Mercy just because it wasn't a, you know, you think about it. That big historic 6-man Hell in a Cell match that they had with the greatest of all time in there, that was at Armageddon. That wasn't SummerSlam or Survivor Series or WrestleMania. No, that was just at a pay-per-view, which maybe would say a throwaway pay-per-view show. So, you know, this idea that we need to wait and hold off to certain pay-per-views is fucking bullshit. Just do the match when it's time, when it's timely. Because by the time we get to SummerSlam, who the fuck is going to care? You know, I understand that they needed to hold off because Bryan wasn't clear. So they have an excuse there. You know, unlike other times where they just wait, like Cena versus The Undertaker, which was a match that they should have done eons ago. I mean, you think back when they could have done this match. They could have done a clear-cut one. 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011. I mean, you see the point. They could have gone so much further with The Undertaker was still full-time with the company. And they still could have had that Cena Undertaker match. And they wait until nobody even cares anymore. Naka Murphy was promising a apology throughout the show. AJ comes out. This promo was, you know, I don't know what it is. Ever since AJ turned face, these promos are just, I mean, they're unbearable, really. Maybe not as unbearable as the Seth Rollins one, but you can see that there's like a certain thing in AJ's voice where it's so exaggerated. And I'm getting, I can't stand these promos. Like, once again, like, he has that tone in his voice. And a lot of these wrestlers do it where they try to put more pizzazz into it. He only does this when he's a babyface. And when I see this, I mean, it's way better, don't get me wrong, than a lot of his TNA stuff we saw back in the day. I'm not saying he's going back to that, but I don't know. To me, it seems a bit amateurish even. Like, it's overacting. It's just putting a bit too much emphasis on certain words, and it just, man, I mean, it's hard to watch with him. Joe comes out. I mean, Samoa Joe. See, this is the funny thing. So Samoa Joe is going to get praised by wrestling journalists once again for cutting a tough promo, a believable promo. And the thing is, like I said, he's been cutting the same promo since TNA circa 2005. Same, face, same terminology, and now, like, he's done it twice in the same week, and he's still going to get praised for it. Like, how can you get praised for cutting the same exact promo 2 weeks in a row, and you've been cutting the same promo your whole career? And I mean, it drives me crazy. You're going to have Keller saying that this is like one of the best promos he's heard all week. I mean, there's no... I mean, now we're in the WWE. We're not in TNA anymore. Doesn't anybody approach Joe? Are they so starved for great promos? That's probably what it is. When we're on the same show listening to promos by the Iconics, I mean, a Samoa Joe promo looks like a Rock promo, for God's sakes. So, I mean, they're not... I'm not saying this is a bad promo. The only reason that I say that it's bad is because I've heard it. I've been hearing it for over a decade already from the same guy. I mean, and this is what drives me nuts, is that nobody approaches Joe and says to change up your act. I mean, the guy is wearing the same tights from the same time as well. Hasn't changed his tights, hasn't changed his promo style, hasn't gotten better shape. I mean, we're talking about a decade already. I mean, if there ever was a time when it called for a change, it's now. But I get because now it's in WWE, it's new. And that is why he's getting a pass on all this shit. But I say, fuck giving him a pass. Let's start working on this guy now and starting to change it up a bit. I mean, he could still be tough and everything, but, you know, the same stone face all the time. The same, you know, grimace and all shit like that. I mean, it's time to change up the act. Like, because he's doing the same promo twice in a week. I mean, first of all, they're trying to do multiple rivalries here at the same time. He's on Raw with Roman Reigns, then he's on SmackDown. I mean, like, let's concentrate on one feud. This is why this Backlash pay-per-view is completely ridiculous. They switched everybody on the shows. So Joe's going to have a match with Roman. It's not going to mean anything. And then he's going to go right to AJ right away. So, like, we're going to go basically from segment. We're going to go from show to show. Just him cutting promos on different guys. Cutting the same promo on them, mind you. I mean, like, that's what I say. Raw can't be better than SmackDown. SmackDown can't be better than Raw because it's the same fucking shit. The same fucking garbage. Naga Murphy then comes out from behind and gives him the low blow. The one thing I did like that AJ said is he seems like he's got a strange obsession with giving him a low blow. And that might be the case. I don't know why they're having him low blow him so many times. I mean, that's even a bit comical. I did find it a bit funny. He also held his hand there for a pretty long time as well, which I'm not really too sure about that. I mean, this is happening, you know. I didn't even catch the thing on Raw where, you know, people are giving shit to Finn Balor because he said the line about liking butts. I didn't see where that came in, so I must have missed that. I have to go watch that. See if I could even find it. If WWE hasn't already scoured it off the internet. But, you know, we're having, I mean, it's like one step away from fondling AJ's jewels there. Like, he does seem like he has a pretty big affection for AJ's groin area. To say the fucking least. I mean, the hand was there for a long-ass time. Xavier Woods beat Sheamus. Like, you gotta be kidding me here. Like, are we really doing this? I just talked about when they were backstage and how Xavier Woods is in Sheamus's face. And here they are. And this is just... I mean, why would they put Xavier over a guy the size of Sheamus? Like, are we really supposed to believe... Oh, he beat him with a small package. Why? You know, why do they defame their own stars in this way? Where he'd lose to a goofball like Xavier. Moments ago, he tells him he's going to eat his soul, and then he actually pins him. A guy the size of Sheamus going down to a guy the size of Xavier Woods. I mean, the believability factor there. I mean, I know the Smarks love Xavier. They like him because of his pop culture references. I can't stand the guy. I mean, I thought when he was heel and he was blowing on the trumpet that, you know, at least it was something new, something fresh, and it was funny and it did make me laugh. But now I just take a look at Xavier and I just see a damn goofball. I mean, I've said this, I've been calling for it for how long now? Close to a year to break them up already. This is a team that needs to be broken up. They need to freshen up the act. I mean, and putting him over Sheamus here. I'm saying, like, a guy, you know, you look at Sheamus, I mean, this guy's a multi-time world champion. I mean, how the mighty have fallen. I mean, even the way he got into the bar tag team, it was like They didn't have anything for Cesaro. They didn't have anything for Sheamus. So what they did is they tagged them together, and it worked for the most part. Like I said, not knocking the team, because I think that they're actually a pretty good team, and I do like the Bar. Don't get me wrong, I actually do like this team a lot, but man, I mean, him eating the pin here to Xavier, it says a lot. And also, like I said, them losing the tag titles, they should want to get them back on the right track, and actually they're going the other way. They want to make sure now that they bury them even further. Good job there, you know. Don't try to get them their heat back or anything. Let's just have them lose, and lose in grand fashion here. Absolution has a little reunion. You know, we just remembered, you know, she's already been the general manager now for a few weeks. But now Paige is going to finally acknowledge Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. And, you know, the thing is, once again, like I said, Sonya Deville should just be on her own. There's money in Sonya Deville. They could have done, now, I mean, the opportunity is ruined because Ronda Rousey is on Raw. I mean, if they were going to do an interpromotional thing at Backlash, it should, like I said, it should have been Rousey and Deville. You shouldn't have had Ronda Rousey. Now is probably just going to have a tag match with Natalya, which is going to be lame as fuck, especially following up the Triple H Stephanie match. They're going to follow that shit up with the fucking boring ass tag match. I mean, how do you know, I mean, and I don't even know if that even is the match. Because isn't Alexa Bliss wrestling Nia Jax? You know, Mickie James is involved there, unless I think Ronda Rousey. So Ronda Rousey might not even be wrestling at Backlash. I don't even know what the card is. I'll be honest, I don't know what this is what I'm saying. I've been saying it throughout the whole video. I don't know what the card is even. Like what is even on this show? Like I said, there's no Brock there. Rousey's probably not going to even wrestle. You had a chance there. They were in the ring together. You could have had Sonya Deville and Ronda Rousey, two MMA fighters going at it. Obviously, you put Rousey over, but, you know, you could have had a little something there. And, you know, everyone that was looking for that shoot fight between Rousey and Asuka, well, you could get sort of that, but from like a real, genuine MMA fighter. Like I said, I said this from the beginning. Why are they not stressing more of her MMA background? They mention it like it's an accolade. Like, oh, this is something she just did. Okay, well, you take that and you use that and you put that into the storyline and you make some money off of it. You generate some interest. Well, Rousey's in the WWE ring, but now she's going to be facing someone who has some of her credentials. She might not be, definitely, she doesn't have the stardom of a Ronda Rousey, but, you know, you could have that UFC-style fight in the WWE ring. I mean, it would still be a work, but it could be a cool little build-up. It could be a nice little gimmick there to have. But no, like, this stuff doesn't cross their minds, I guess, or they just don't want to do it. I don't know which one it is, but... You know, you have a big opportunity here, and they just fucking blew it. So, Paige tells them that they're not going to get any special treatment. They have to earn their matches. So, Mandy is going to have a match against, who did she say next week? I don't even fucking remember who she said she's going to have a match with. Oh, Becky Lynch. There you go. Oh, what? Okay, great. I'm definitely looking forward to that. A singles match with Becky Lynch just because. Let's all watch next week. That's really going to get people to go tune in. So that's what you're telling us what's going to happen next week on SmackDown. That's your only confirmed match. So people are definitely going to tune in to SmackDown to see Becky Lynch versus Mandy Rose. Cien Almas, they had a little short promo. Zelina Vega, you know, said when he shows up, basically. Okay, great. You know, whenever he gets there, you know, we'll get to see Del Rio 2.0. Then in the main event, it was Charlotte, Becky, and Asuka defeating the Iconics and Carmella. Great. like another multi-man match. I mean, you know, we gotta throw all the girls together once again. You know, we're fresh off of no girls, you know, in Saudi Arabia, right? You know, not a single girl on there. And then we fast forward, now we're just going to throw them all together again. I don't even know what's worse. No girls, are just making them like they're all interchangeable, basically. I've said this time and time again. Like I said, Becky Lynch has a sort of charisma to her. She does deserve to be there. I do like Becky Lynch. But, you know, you've got Charlotte and you've got Carmella here. And you've got the Iconics, which are just straight-up amateurs. That they don't deserve to be there. But you've got Carmella and Charlotte, who are two excellent. I mean, Carmella's better on the mic than Charlotte. Don't get me wrong about that. But these, you know, Charlotte looks like $1 million. You know, she's got this just, she oozes with, like, importance. Like, she looks like she deserves to be there. She's got the accolades. And, I mean, and just having the Iconics in this match. And then there's Asuka, which, you know, like I said, like, you're putting Asuka next to the Iconics. And I know I'm not a big fan of Asuka, but, you know, you got the Iconics there. So Asuka's looking like $1 million compared to them. I mean, I just can't get over it. These girls do not deserve to be there. The fact that they're on this show, it just speaks volumes about how pathetic this company is. I mean, they don't know what they're doing anymore. I mean, that you'd promote these girls to the main roster. Not only that, but mic in hand. You're giving them a mic, and you are telling them to go out there and basically make fucking fools of themselves because they sound like, not only like amateurs, but they sound they're horrible. I mean, when they're out there, you could hear the sound of 1,000... a million remotes just turning the channel or turning the TV off. Because, I mean, like, who would sit through that? I mean, honestly, the show is bad enough as it is. You're going to implement people that are just unbearable to watch as it is. I mean, God. So there you go, guys. There's your show. What a smackdown it was, right? I mean, you know, Backlash is this Sunday. You've got to be fucking kidding me. I mean, honestly, there's a pay-per-view on Sunday, and I don't even know what the card is. Because I don't even think there really is a card. They have a few confirmed matches, and, you know, like, the rest of the card is up in the air. I mean, they're probably just going to fucking fill it up with whatever at this point. I mean, why even have a pay-per-view? Cancel that shit. If you've got nothing to show for your pay-per-view, why are we even having it? You just had one, so it'd be perfectly understandable to cancel it. You know, it really is like, and you're using stars from both shows, and you still couldn't even put together a competent card? Like, you're utilizing both rosters, so there's no excuse here. I mean, this was Backlash. We should have been getting some big matches. The Bryan Miz thing, that should have been on there. Okay, Big Cass and Bryan, I think it's going to probably end up being pretty decent. But, I mean, we could have had a lot better shit on here. I mean, you know, so you're showing us the greatest Royal Rumble. You gave us the Brock Roman match. And then we're just going to have Joe and Roman, which is not even for any title. It's just happening. We've already seen it before. So you're showing us the greatest Royal Rumble, which happened a week before, is, you know, the bigger card. So why would anybody bother with Backlash? It should be called Backhand, because that's exactly what it fucking feels like. A big fucking slap in the face. Oh, you watched Greatest Royal Rumble? Okay, great. Then we're going to just give... And that's not even a normal pay-per-view. That's just like a special, like, one-time event that they did. You know, in a lot of ways, it, like, doesn't even count Greatest Royal Rumble in a lot of ways, because... You know, the Royal Rumble that they had is not like the Royal Rumble in January. And that's the other reason why I decided not to watch it. We're going to have another fucking Royal Rumble. Like, we just had one in January. We're going to watch another one that's even longer. That's what I said. I'm not going to sit through a 77-minute fucking another Royal Rumble match. I already reviewed one Royal Rumble this year. I'm not going to fucking sit there and watch another Rumble. even if it is good, you know what I'm saying, and Rey Mysterio was in there, and you had some good shit going down in that Rumble. You had a good Daniel Bryan performance lasting a while. I get that. Maybe one day I will watch it, but right now, like I said, I've already seen a Rumble a few months ago. Not really interested in seeing another one. Just not what I'm looking to do. That's not how I'm looking to spend my time. But anyway, there you go. Well, hey, I made this video, right? I could have been like in another 20 minutes. The match would have fucking been over already. But there you go, guys. Rather do a review than watch some fucking lousy ass fucking show on the network. So there's your SmackDown review, guys. Backlash, it's gonna be horrible. I don't know. I seriously can't believe that there's a pay-per-view this Sunday. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. This has been your YWC champ, signing out.